$385,000. Yes, $489,000. $225,000. Yes, that's the equity that some of our clients have gained that we've helped purchase properties just a few years back. Today in this video, I'm going to share the journey of one of our clients that purchased several properties within just 4 years and the smart moves that they made to be where they're at today. Life is like Monopoly, every move counts. I'm Gia Silva, real estate broker and investor, and I've helped hundreds of people make winning real estate moves. So let's get right to it. Let me tell you about our story about one of our clients. Let's call them Alpha and Omega. Now, just 10 years ago, Alpha and Omega were renting. They had never purchased a property before, and really because they didn't believe that they could afford a home at that time. To their surprise, and after connecting them to a lender, they realized that they could in fact purchase their first home. So we started their search. We ended up securing them a house that was perfect for their first home. It was just Alpha and Omega at the time, so they purchased their very first home with the hopes to grow into it and start a family. Now 7 years had passed and a couple of things had happened at Alpha and Omega. They had 2 little ones and now they were at the point of outgrowing the property. This is when we were looking closely at the value of their home every single year, and we went through some options of what they can do to move into a bigger home. Now here was their big question. Could they keep that first home that they purchased, rent it out, and still purchase another property? So pro tip, if it makes financial sense for you to keep that first property that you purchased and use it as a rental property and purchase another one, that is absolutely the way to go. But remember, that's only if you're open to being a landlord. Now, because they decided that they were going to be renting out that first property that they purchased, they had a few options. Should they rent it to family members, move in their parents because they were already looking for a bigger house for them? Or should they just rent it in the rental market for as much as they can get? So once again, we went to the drawing board, worked out numbers, worked out their lifestyle, and finally they decided that that rental property they were going to utilize to move their parents in and still be close enough to the new property that they had purchased. Now 2021, Alpha and Omega in their new home with the pool and their littles, and they were just enjoying it and having a wonderful time until they realized there was more pool than backyard and the kiddos were already running around. A couple meetings between us and another decision was made. They were now going to be looking for a property that was much larger with a larger lot. Whether it had a pool or not, what was really important to them at the time was a huge backyard. Now keep this in mind, that second home that they decided to sell, the pool home, they actually purchased it for $620,000 and then sold it 2 years later for $838,000. That's a gross profit of over $200,000. Now, Alpha and Omega took some of those profits to purchase that new home with a big backyard, and they purchased it for $1.1 million in 2022. Okay, so Alpha and Omega still have their first home, which they're renting to their parents. And now they have the new home with a big backyard. Now, we were starting to have conversations about getting their parents closer to the kiddos, of course, and they thought, well, we have such a big backyard. Gia, what can we do? Now, back to the drawing board, they had a few options. Should they bring their parents closer to them into their home or even build an ADU, or should they just stay in that first property that they have them at? Now, remember that first property that they initially purchased? Well, now they're renting it out for market rent and are super cash flow positive. So now we're coming to the end of 2024. It's time for people to have equity reviews where we actually go and take a look at how much equity they've gained in just 12 months. Well, I just spoke with Alpha and Omega and we realized that that property that they purchased just 2 years ago for 1.1 is now ready about $1.6 million. That is $500,000 in equity gain in just 2 years. Now, Alpha and Omega have many options now. They are thinking of moving closer to the beach, maybe utilizing some of that equity to purchase more property. I mean, the opportunities are endless. Now, as life changes come about, they are open to revisiting over and over their plans and readjusting as needed. Now, what I know is that for most people, it's not always a linear journey in real estate. There are adjustments that you have to make, revisit your plans, strategize, and continue to adapt also with change. So whether you have not yet purchased your first home, perhaps own a property and are looking to upsize or maybe downsize, or looking to get into investment property, maybe you own investment property and are thinking, when is the right time to make a move, to make a smart move? Well, just know that not everybody has the same story, everyone has different circumstances, and life changes. So if you want to talk about your circumstances, let's chat. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below, and send some kudos to Alpha and Omega. See you next time.